What is up, everybody? Before we get into the next few episodes, I wanted to re-record some of our ad reads and be very brief with you guys. The first one is that our discount code with Sport Kill has updated. It is now Rogue25 because it is no longer 2024. So if you guys are planning to come to our games or any other games, you need to grab, frankly, one of the best kill still Highland games. Check out Sport Kill. Use that code at checkout. It'll save you a little bit of money and it helps us out. So we appreciate it. Badger Highland Game Supply. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram under that name for both. If you need to send some equipment, Chemstud. If you need to solve chemistry equations, it's available in the App Store. And I think that is about it. We also want to briefly thank our two new Brown sponsors for the Woodridge Farm Games this year. That is Danny with Backyard Rebellion. You can find him at backyardrebellion.com. And also the Danzers down with Holiday Highlander. So thank you to all of them. We will get into the episode and enjoy.
That's the level of professionalism that we bring to things.
Yeah.
So,
I'll leave him. Huge.
I'm actually not vascular right now. I don't know what it is, just the time of day.
It's massive.
Anyway, welcome back. There we go. That's so. Anyway, that's the podcast. No.
Yeah, we didn't go into this talking about what we wanted to talk about.
No, we didn't. You said let's record an extra episode while we're waiting, and here we are. So, has anything been grinding your gears lately in Highland games? Oh, those are fun ones.
Those are fun.
Let's what's been peeving you off, buddy? You know what? I'll jump us off if you don't have a thing that you just thought.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So, this is no one that I talk to for the AD episodes, but there are ADs out there. What I loved is that 99% of the people I talk to.
I hate ADs.
Fucking, I hate myself. No. What I hate is the people out there. I will not. But are we fixing our mustaches?
Yeah,
anyway,
almost.
ADs out there who are not aware that they provide a product to the athletes as well as to the venues. I think your game numbers deserve to go down, and I think you should go out of business. I think it is the free market. And I love ADs.
Listen here.
Taco flavored kisses. Anyway, this is going to be a horrible episode. But ADs that have lost sight of why they do it, and they lack a give a shit to the athletes, and they also just the lack of transparency thing that we touched on before too is also just frustrating because it's not just at big championship games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people want to know what they're getting, where their money's going, and what's happening.
Yep.
And there are a lot of places out there that aren't providing that. That's something that grinds my gears.
Yeah, you operate a government. You buy into a social contract, and when you're not getting the part of it, or at least knowing where it's going, it feels shitty no matter if they're using it for good or bad things.
Yeah, so just tell people.
And that's not to say that every business has to disclose their assets. That's not my argument.
But you should have a brief overview. What is your mission statement? What are you doing?
But if you are a community-based, not-for-profit, which most of these are, I kind of think you need to have public records on this and tell us what the fuck it's going towards. But
yeah, that's fair. So that was a jumping off point. It wasn't a long rant. Oh man, we've already cleared up in the last episode. If you guys didn't listen, heavy athlete doesn't belong to me and Matt. We cleared that up. Go listen. We really should have come up with some sort of plan first. How about this? Let's make predictions for the new year.
Okay.
How's your season going to go overall? We've talked about Florida. What are you trying to accomplish in the 2025 season?
let me pull that up.
Why do you have 11 unread DMs? This is why people have to message me and not you.
Yeah, that's right.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, you got it. Let me sign in and I'll tell you.
Why don't you stay signed in?
Huh?
Well, this is a great opportunity to tell people to just go log into Heavy Athlete and create an account if they haven't already, because you should be, because it's better. The Celtic Tracker's there, Masters Worlds is there, Lightweight Nationals is there for men and women. Huzzah! The Blue Ridge Championship is there. All right. You got them up? You there?
I will.
I've just been, I I'm a yapper, but I need a plan, and I don't have a
Give me
plan.
your goals.
My goals for the year: 15-foot wob. For at more than one game. I don't want it to be a fluke, and I think that's very reasonable and doable if I stay healthy. Last year was a bit of a letdown, so I ended 2023 at 6,300 points. I ended this year at like 6,140 something. Like I actually came down. For anyone that followed and paid attention, I started the season sick and then nagging shoulder and some other things, and it was just a pain in the ass. So I'm hoping that this year with smart weight room programming, shout out to Nicky boy, and all of that. God, I hope it picks up your breathing because it's so heavy right now. I'm just hoping to best that. I'd love to make this my last amateur season. I think that'd be fun. That is it's 700 more points I would need to come up off of my 2023 season, which I think is doable. I think, you don't think it's doable? Yeah, it's hard. But here's my thing. Points wise, that sounds like a lot. A 15-foot wob consistently is a jobber pro number. But that's the point, is consistently. Well, I don't want to be one of the people that hit it once and then
go pro or be a 7,000 point pro.
Yeah,
What's
fair.
Your goal? 7,000, I don't see happening. Going pro, sure.
Yeah, it's tricky. I don't know. But the point is to come out very good. I'd love to end the season around 6,700 points. I think that's a manageable goal, right?
Right.
So like a 50,
for sure.
Yeah, a 15-foot wob, a 30-foot sheath, a high 40s open stone.
Right.
You know, staying in that mid to high 30 range on Braemar would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd like to consistently be above 35 in Braemar.
Right.
Consistently in the mid to upper 40s on open stone. A 35 heavy plus, which I think is super doable.
Yeah, 70 light.
And a 70 light, like, would be nice. And there are a lot of pros with numbers worse than that, so it really is the debate of what would I want to do with my time, you know?
Yeah.
Where would I get invited? I don't know. That's all the end of this season thing. The main thing during the season is to hit those numbers and to try and hit them consistently, which right now, feeling strong and healthy, I think is very doable. Yeah. And planning my season intelligently. Last year I threw less games and just traveled more. And I think I'm going to still do some kind of mix of that. You know, like, I'll do Chad's games because he's our boy. I'm going to go up to Maine and do the open up there while Worlds is going on.
Yeah.
So that'll be good.
An invite.
Yeah, we'll see. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
I've won the game twice in a row now, so it'd be fun, but we'll see.
Yeah. Do they have a tracker for that? I don't know.
No. They don't.
It's weird. It's Worlds. Why would you track that? Yeah, so that's my goal for the year, is those numbers. I'd like to consistently be back in the triple digits for at least one hammer, if not. Going to triple digits in heavy would honestly be really tough. My PR being in the... Yeah. My PR is 86-ish, something like that.
Talking about 13 more feet.
Yeah.
Which
here's the thing. Hammer is... you're already dealing with a larger number, so...
You're still talking about an 18% gain.
Yeah. Whereas a 10% gain is much more reasonable, even of the top end. You know?
Yeah.
So if I could get that consistently over 90 and get my lightweight or light hammer consistently in the 108 plus range, I think that would be pretty doable. Yeah. You know? That's a much more marginal, reasonable increase. And if I could hit those numbers, I could stay a top end.
Right.
I mean, pretty comfortably with what I just threw out.
Yeah.
So
the biggest increase I'm looking for, now that I have my goals to
okay.
Is like I'm expecting to get at least 8% better in the lightweight, which would be a big jump, but also it's what I'm throwing in practice right now. So like that's where my goal is.
What feet are you looking at there?
It will be in like a day.
Okay.
So but yes, but no.
I just meant for me. I don't care about these people.
No, only on through testing. But anyway, we're still debugging. In Braemar, I want to jump up to a 40'6". I've thrown 39 5.5. That's a 3% gain. Open stone, I want to throw 54. I've thrown 52.7, so that's a 3% gain. Heavyweight, 48, which is pretty consistent in practice right now. And I've thrown 44.8, and so that's a 7% gain. So that's a pretty big one. But again, I've hit the number in practice, so I'm I'm really looking to do some nasty shit in the heavyweight this year. Lightweight, my goal is 90, crack 90. I didn't get better this year at lightweight as far as my PRs. I think I increased by like inches, less than a foot total from my last amateur year to my first full pro year. But in practice, like I didn't have a throw below 80. I just didn't have a throw over 81.
Yeah.
So like PR of 82.9. In practice, I'm hitting 88 to 92. Like, I'd like to hit 90 at some point this year. I might do it as soon as Florida, but I'm not expecting to. I'm expecting like an 85. Because I can one turn in 85. Heavy hammer, 5% jump. I want to throw 106 at least. 106 would actually put me in competition in that event. It's still on the lower side.
Yeah, but you're not eating 9 points.
I'm not eating 9 points. I'm eating
5 points.
6, 5. Yeah, like that's a good middle of the pack result where I am top 5 in the other events. So, or number 1 going into some of them, but or one of them. Light hammer 128. I've thrown 123.10. That's also only a 3% increase. Again, percentages are a little bullshit because the percents get bigger and it's unrealistic. The percents get smaller as the numbers get bigger, and it's unrealistic.
Well, that's like if Vlad said he wanted to add 15 feet to his 150-foot hammer.
It's 10%, yeah.
Yeah, but 15 feet to 150-foot hammer is insane.
Right, for sure.
Like, so, yeah.
Which Vlad thinks he's going to break the world record this year, which I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
Let's
come do it at Woodridge.
Let's devalue those hammers.
Are we going to live update world records as they happen in heavy?
End of the year.
End of the year?
Yeah, update at the end of the year.
Sorry, is Mike gonna live update?
The January 1st at midnight.
It'll reset everything.
Yeah. Sheaf 32. I've cranked mid 30s with a 20.
Yeah.
I don't throw sheaf very often. My pro PR is 30. I haven't had to go any higher.
Okay.
And like I win at 27, and then I take cracks at like 32, 31. And it's just at the end of the day, I'm often tired. I crank my weight so hard.
I've been
cranking it. And then the wob I won 18, but PR is 17.6. Done that at a couple meets. So I just, truthfully, if I could hold at 17.6, I'd be happy.
Yeah.
But 18 would be awesome. That from last year to this year only looks like 100-point gain, but because world records have updated, I finished last year at 77.90 something or something like that by old fake bullshit numbers, but by the current actual numbers, my all-time is like 74.80 or something. So this would put me at 7,800. It looks like a 100-point gain. It's really a
300-point gain,
300 to 500-point gain, depending on the dispersion of the records. But
okay,
it's not. It gets hard for me to pick these things though, because it's an awesome problem to have, but as soon as you are getting into the territory of approaching world records, specifically on the heavyweight is what I'm talking about, it's like, is it realistic to expect me to throw a 48 to a 50-foot heavyweight this year? I'm doing it all the time.
Here's the thing, it's also unrealistic to ask of anyone ever. That's why it's a world record.
Exactly.
Because there's always an X factor with
like
stuff at that level. Like it just
no one's done it. Does that mean it's undoable? No, right? So like that's the I'd like to join the 50-foot club. That'd be really cool. There's only a couple of us. So and I'm not one of them yet.
Couple of them.
So like I think I'm gonna throw a 55 heavy before I throw a 100-foot light. Like if I were going to do either of those. Neither, one of those hasn't been done by anyone. And I could see extending that record in the next,
calendar year,
decade. Yeah, not even the next calendar year, but like if my averages right now are 47, 48, you hit a fluke throw, 5%.
Yeah,
it's 2.5 feet. World record that we're going off of is 51 something. So like, maybe,
What is the disparity with the world record on that? Why is it?
That's my question.
Okay.
It's actually a Danny Webster question because we're using he has an unbroken log of the chain of custody.
What is the one that supposedly is mythical and past that?
52 something.
By Spencer?
Yeah.
Is the other one also by Spencer?
Yeah.
Oh. Well then, gives a fuck.
Time or where it was, or like unverified.
No, I don't mean who gives a fuck as to why we're picking one or the other. I mean, then I don't care. Like, it'd be interesting to talk about if it was one person's record over someone else's because of time, event, placing, weighing, whatever's.
The stone record is like that, though.
Okay.
Because there is.
Talk about that. I'm not a good historian of this sport. What is the discrepancy with the stone record?
So we've had a pro shopper come over and throw like 65 or 66 feet.
Okay.
But it was either exhibition in style or the
So he didn't throw a full game
or a full game. But like
some shit.
we have a couple of those marks where it's like, you know, this is just the farthest someone has thrown in this style.
Mhm.
Does it count, right? Where they
Try to
a
argue it
legitimate
doesn't,
thrower,
you know?
where they right, and
It's the argument of Thor's deadlift in his gym during COVID to break Eddie Hall's record, right?
well, it's
very similar. It wasn't done in comp.
it was that's a lie. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
There were only 3 people powerlifting in that, but he did it in a powerlifting comp sanction at his gym during a
It's
pandemic.
straps. How's it a powerlifting competition if you use straps?
Well, it's not a USPL powerlifting
Yeah,
comp,
yeah.
but like we can make any the same way any of our records are records. You make a federation.
Yeah.
But like he had other lifters warming up and competing at the same time. Is it not a comp? Does it have to be? Is it only a comp if more people show up? Well, make something legitimate, right?
Well, it's like the 4 pro rule with us.
Right. There's
Your
more-
weight did not go 92 feet
Right.
just because there were 3 people, not 4.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, that should still be the record, even if it doesn't count for some games calling it a record. But the point is, there wasn't enough vetting, apparently. And that's the argument with Thor, is there's not enough vetting.
yeah,
Another
dad weighed the weights and,
Right, but like-
you know,
is dad can operate a scale, I don't see the problem.
yes.
There could be some corruption there, but like that's a hell of an allegation, right?
Yeah.
So just like the WOB, you know, does Thor's WOB world record at Loon, should that be what we count as the WOB world record?
I'd say no, it wasn't a full game.
Would it
Or
have
full
changed?
for whatever,
Right, but would it have changed if it was?
maybe.
Maybe, but maybe.
It's I think if there's a significant maybe, then whether it would make it better or worse, you know, I think that has to be taken into account.
Right.
Because we've all known it. If you're throwing wob at the end of the day after you've thrown caber and sheaf and heavyweight,
But if it was the first event, which is something we do sometimes, and then he went
It
over
could
and
be.
dropped a stone, went over and picked a caber up, and then and he threw a foot, right? He literally
yeah,
just picked up the heavyweight and did that, you know,
Yeah.
then it would count.
True.
So what the fuck's the difference?
True.
And that's kind of my
Yeah.
my take on it. I don't know why we wouldn't count that.
Here's the thing. I would then count that, and I would just call him chicken shit.
Oh, no, for sure. Like, and that would be something to be upset about. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know that would be wrong. But
Yeah.
but yeah, there are a couple of those ones. So
True. Yeah.
but not very many.
Okay.
Just like, speaking of records, this is a fun one for not Grimes Mike here, but an interesting one. Like the Scottish world records are vastly different than the American world records
True.
because they have an actual government system that's running their games, and they are only taking world records from vetted, confirmed games, and their athletes are drug free. So like the heavyweight record is 47 feet and change over there. That's what they're calling the world record. Even though Scottish athletes have thrown farther than that, like Gregor Edmonds threw further than that.
Yeah.
But in America, not drug tested at certain games, and it's like not even implying he was on drugs. But they can't verify it.
Yeah.
You know? So it's interesting. It's like, how do we, like, those are for them the world records.
Yeah.
And since there's only one Highland Games organization in the world and then a bunch of random people keeping track of things, it's hard to argue that those
But they
aren't the vetted world records.
Yeah.
And that all of the things we do in the US are just Guinness numbers.
Fair. To an extent.
To an extent. There's
Yeah.
a line of argument there. It's not even the argument I'm making. I'm not making the argument.
Yeah.
But there is an argument. There's some credence.
You could
to it.
discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about records randomly. Talked about what your season looks like numbers wise. What's your season looking like games wise? Any idea? What are you trying to? I know you work off of invites now, but like, if you had, how are you going to structure that and prioritize?
So I do work off invites, but now that I've done the things I've done, I get a little bit more sway in it. So I'm opening up in January because I accepted that invite before I accepted that a while ago. You know what I mean? So before I knew what the season was, the plans were, before I decided that I was leaving country. So I wanted to make sure I had early Celtic marks.
Yeah. Sure, the Trump won, and then you wanted to leave the country. You fucking shit.
No, Frank, just no, but yeah, that's me. But so yeah, so I accepted January. I'm not going to back out of something I said yes to, but I don't think I would have accepted.
Other than the Battlefield games.
Yeah, I had something else coming. Yeah, that wasn't a program. It was a demo. But
it would have been if everyone had showed up, but half of my pros backed out.
Yeah. So,
fuck.
Yeah. But I had other shit going on at the time.
Yeah.
But
it's fine.
So January I have Florida. February I'm not doing a game. March I'm gonna throw at Sedalia, which doesn't have hammers, but that's fine because
Or bad at hammers.
No. Well, objectively I'm, top 25 in the world with old numbers, should be top 15 with new.
Technically, my hammers are not great, so I don't mind Sedalia either.
Right. Like,
which is dumb because my arms are really.
I don't mind games that aren't all 9 games because I compete enough that, like,
you get them.
I hate them early.
Yeah.
And that was the other thing, is having early hammer marks.
For Florida, that's nice. It's the same thing we tried to give people with Lloyd's, and we just couldn't reach a thing with Lloyd's this year.
I lied. I'm gonna host a backyarder in February, so that all of our guys have probably cherries.
Okay.
So that all of our guys
Everyone gets hammer marks.
Right. And it might be a 7-event game, and just say, look, it's fucking cold. You're not throwing open stone, and you're not throwing, lightweight. Yeah. You're all strong and slow. We're not throwing the fast things.
What if my lightweight be popping?
Eat shit. I'm doing for free out of courtesy. But anyway, yeah. So February nothing, January, February, March Sedalia, April Central Carolina, doing Bucks game at the end of the month.
Okay.
May is that one of the no fames? Or is that Rocket City? That's Rocket City. Rocket City, if they have a pro class, I'll go to. If they don't have a pro class, I might still show up and hang out. But maybe Rocket City. That comes down to what Webster can figure out. June, I'm going to do home games, so no fame. July, I'm going to do Fort 4. And both of those are Pro-Am style.
Okay.
Like the open.
I just can't. I want to go up there on my birthday weekend for Maine in August.
Right.
So I can't justify doing
Yeah.
multiple trips that far. Like
June. July is Fort 4. Like Bill Crawford, no fame. That's the new Northeast Championships. So I should do that. But then I'm doing 9 more games in July.
What?
Because I'm going to Scotland.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to be there for 11 days.
You're going to make it back for American Worlds?
If I get invited.
Which is a dumb fucking sentence.
And it's in August.
American Worlds. Makes it sound like not Worlds.
Right. But yeah, so part of the July for me is going to be the Hulker Games in Scotland, which is Worlds.
Okay.
So, and not Scottish Worlds, is
Worlds.
You
Okay.
have Worlds, you have Bill Crawford's Worlds, you have the ISGF Worlds. But the Scottish Worlds is Worlds. It's the oldest organization. It's been continually run, like, for a couple hundred years. It's supported by Scottish Parliament. There's not just a government of the games.
Government of the country.
There's a country's government directly behind.
I will hit up Trump on Twitter if that makes you happy.
If he slaps some money into the games, hell yeah. Like, fuck it.
You're going to have the most amazing games, the biggest games.
Great again.
Huge games.
Listen, we're going to
make the games great again hats. Is that too controversial? Do we not?
I think we're too clan tied.
That's fair.
Do shit like that.
It starts to look great.
We're a Scottish festival. Anyway, like a Presbyterian run game might be bad.
Yeah.
As we sit.
Look, I run my game in a brewery in the South, and we're in Hardy's parking lot.
Oh, I know.
That's
that's why
this is the heartland.
That's why we can't do it. Well, we get support. I'm not saying that. I'm saying we shouldn't.
We shouldn't. That's fair.
But yeah, so Worlds.
Already made Pornhub stickers.
August is Bill Crawford Worlds
Yep.
at Maine. Again,
Yeah, weekend of the 17th.
So if I got invited to that, I'd absolutely go. But I haven't.
I'd love to say, did you hear that, Bill? But Bill Crawford doesn't listen to this. Josh might. Josh, tell Bill.
August. It's July, August, September.
Mhm.
September is Celtic.
And Woodridge.
And Woodridge Farm. So Woodridge and then Celtic.
What weekend's Celtic?
Should be the last weekend.
Okay.
It's a third of the last. But I think when we talked about it, we made it so it wasn't the same date.
I'm pretty sure.
But I haven't picked Celtic. So.
I know.
But
I'll take all the pros that don't go to Celtic.
Most
It's
of
the
them.
same weekend.
Yeah.
You mean
50?
I only lose a couple guys?
Right. You lose me and John and
Yeah.
maybe Wes. So
Maybe less.
3
As of things right now, not
Right.
less.
Correct. Yeah. So yeah, just me and John. But and then after that, September, October will be Radford. November. Oh, we forgot VSG in August.
Oh yeah. First weekend of September.
First weekend of September.
Labor Day
Yeah,
weekend.
there you go.
Which sometimes is August 31st,
Yeah,
September
yeah. So
1.
Virginia Scottish games in there. And then
Yeah, I guess I'll do
October's-
UCCs this
You
year.
should. October is Radford. November is Richmond if it comes back, which is my home games in my home city. So like that should be, or not anymore because I moved, but like that should be. I'm slightly farther north in Virginia now. Congrats. But
Yeah, that's the other reason why this is getting harder and harder to get us both in the same place, guys.
yeah, we live 3 hours away from each other.
Yeah.
So
So sorry you're going to see more of my face, but
yeah,
I produce it.
it'd be like that.
I do.
And then December holiday if it's a game, but certainly a clinic.
Mm-hmm.
And then January, I'll do nothing of 2026. February, nothing. February, March,
Move to Scotland.
nothing. April, I might be around to do Bucks game and then leave. I'm undecided. Depends on if my scores are good enough from Celtic to qualify me for Celtic the next year. I'm not going to do any games in the US.
Yeah, who cares?
And then I'm going to move to Scotland 2026 and do 40 games in 4 months and
Yeah, just live your life.
just go be European. You know.
Good.
Mm,
All right. Fun.
mhm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's my season.
Good.
You thought about yours at all?
I've thought about it very loosely. I still want to be selective with games. I want to travel. I want to do one of Danny's games. I just haven't picked one. A lot of my thought into next year currently has been with putting together Woodridge. We'll do Sedalia. I've already told Chad I'll do that. So my season will start there, as is tradition. Start Sedalia. I'll do Maine in August. It's my birthday weekend. I can go up and say that I did one of Josh's games for the year.
I would do Crystal. Like I'll do any of the games Bill invites me to.
Okay.
I wouldn't go back to California.
Why not?
Just won't be worth it.
Fair enough.
It's the same 9 events, but after a 12-hour plane ride,
Why bother?
I made $1,300. My plane ticket was $900.
Yeah.
I had to buy an extra night of the hotel. It wasn't financially sound, and it wasn't sound for me as an athlete because I was on a plane for 12 hours. So like that's
What if it was like Pleasanton?
Pleasanton, then weekend is VSG.
That's
VSG.
all right. So yeah, it's Sedalia, Maine, ECCs. I really think if my numbers come together the way that they should, I'm not saying I'd win ECCs. I think I could be in contention for a podium.
Yeah, you gotta win Maine first, right? Because it's Maine ECCs.
Yeah.
That would be the
Yeah, that'd be cool. Which I think, like, here's the thing: if I am throwing a mid-30s heavyweight and a 70-foot lightweight, like, it's good enough to potentially win those games.
Well, you should win Northeast games. Your
Yeah.
best Northeast thrower is Tony Trapp, and he went pro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Sean was really good when I threw against him at No Fame's home game. We were back and forth all day. Danaher, I don't know how he pronounces his last name. I had known him before I went up there. Never knew who he was. I can show you his Instagram when we get done.
redhead,
No,
a ball thrower guy. What is his
No.
name?
that's Tony
Tom.
or Troy.
There we go. I like Troy.
Sorry, Troy. Yeah. No, Troy was injured, so we'll see what Troy does next year. I'm interested to see. But Sean was a former collegiate thrower.
Sweet.
So we traded off and back and forth most of the day, and
Mhm.
he inched me out. I mean, pretty much consistently.
Right.
Like, he deserved to win. It
Mhm.
wasn't
It was close by marked off by points.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it was literally like he'd take first, I take second, and we'd be that far just all day. I just couldn't quite push past him. I think I maybe won a hammer or two or something, you know? But yeah, so it'd be like that. So yeah, I'll do main, I'll do ECCs.
Yeah.
With the goal right now being to podium at each, depending on how numbers go, to win each, maybe would be cool.
Right.
Looking at the numbers for ECC last year, if it continues the same way, that's actually halfway doable. With the people that showed up and the people that have gone pro and then yada yada. So,
yep.
After that, run Woodridge in September.
You know, Radford.
Yeah, I'll do Radford. Hopefully, if it's the weekend after that, maybe not. That was the problem I had last year.
It's 18, 19.
Okay, the weekend before. I don't know. We'll see how together I am with Woodridge. You know. Oh, of October, then yeah, fuck it. Oh, that's right, because it was Battlefield it conflicted with, not Woodridge. Oh, then yeah, I'll do Radford.
Right.
Yeah, and Richmond if it comes back.
What games are you hosting this year?
Woodridge.
Just Woodridge.
Yeah, so for anyone that's curious, Lloyd's was going to go the Sports Illustrated route. And the trouble we ran into was, if anyone we ran 2 games at Lloyd's before. The one that coincided with their Corn Maze Fall Festival was great. Absolutely awesome. The follow-up one, not so great from the festival side. Great turnout from the athletes. The weather day 2 was crap, but I can't control that. The issue was the venue did not do a great job of realizing how far out they needed to book things. It's a space they're trying to break into, and they had some growing pains, and so the festival didn't come together around it.
Yeah, logistics broke down on their end.
Yeah, so when I got a hold of SI Tickets through Josh, I said, hey, there's enough skin in the game. I will book all your clans and vendors if you guys will host us again. That way we make sure we have a festival. They came back and said, why don't you just run everything? We'll give you half the ticket sales and go, which on its face sounded really cool until I broke down the numbers, which also meant me paying for porta-johns and me paying for event insurance and me, everything.
At the point that we're doing that, we'll just open a business. Like, we'll just do it.
Yeah, it was at a minimum, without a pro class, a $7,000 upfront investment by me, which was just not worth the risk at the time. It had a potential upside of really nice. I mean, you sell tickets at $10 to $20 a head, and you sell 1,000 tickets. Like, you've made your money back.
Well, you made that
unless it rains.
Well, and it costed.
And you had to take probably honestly, by the time you have a pro class and all that, $10,000 out.
So you make 10, it costs 10, but you owe them half ticket sales. So really, you made 5. It costs 10. You're on 5.
Right. It just didn't break down well. So that's why we're not having Lloyd's this year. If they ever get through their growing pains of becoming a venue and want to go back to the original thing, I'll happily go there. They're great people. We just couldn't work out a thing. So the spring game is off. We'll run Woodridge in September. The issue with Battlefield is the land that we were throwing on last year has been sold and will be developed. So we don't know if it will be developed by October or not. So I'm just not planning on it. And honestly, they only have a couple of months to get in touch with me to say we're doing it anyway, because I'm not going to rush a game. You know, I don't need that stress in my life. I'm growing Woodridge into everything I want it to be.
Right.
I have a venue that loves us, is communicative, will do the things I ask of them. I do the things they ask of me. Like, it's a very good relationship for what we do. So I'm not going to push it elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to just put 3 games worth of work into Woodridge.
Right.
And make that like the dopest game in Virginia. You know, I'm cool with that. So
yeah.
That's that. That's my season.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. Well, that's a nice, easy little half-hour one turn. That filled some time.
Yeah. Sports.